This week on RSBANDB Update, Tuska's remains are wiped off the map. Beastmaster Hounds and One Piercing Note pick up the slack for Anima Island's old rewards. League's Catalyst arrives September 15th. We discuss League's gameplay and share our first thoughts. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 1051, recorded Thursday, August 21st, 2025. Tuska goes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to RSBANDB Update. This week, Tuska is no longer with us in-game. A throwback to 2015 when that world event happened. Tanis, you were there for that.
I was, and I'm not saying it was Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. I'm just saying it might have been Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
That was a fight that was rigged, right?
Hey, you know.
But also here's Perdassi, everybody's second favorite Australian, telling you how he feels about Anima Island.
On the GIM, I spent a lot of, probably 7 or 8 hours down there unlocking everything, getting my Tuska outfit and all the abilities and such. So, I mean, I didn't mind it, but I could see how it would frustrate so many people because it wasn't, for me, coming from sort of the 80s where gaming was sort of tedious at times. I can see how people these days hated it.
But that's not all this week. In a surprise announcement, it has been announced that League's Catalyst, the first ever Leagues for RuneScape 3, is coming on September 15th, so we'll talk about that too. Plus patch notes, but before we get too far down the road, big huge thank you to all of our experienced tier Patreon members this week. That is Amos Reed, Bladecom, Dominic R, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Keski, Lemon Launch, Luminos, Ricky A, Runestar, Oasis, Snail Mage, The Naked Captain, and Tim. Big huge thank you to all those people. You'll hear more about our Patreon offerings a little bit later in the podcast. But of course, full show notes can be found over at update.show. We have our friends chatting game that you can find at BitsBytes, and the community Discord is over at update.show/Discord. All right, so just getting into it off the bat, Tuska, the husk of that beast that crashed into the ocean off the Caridian Desert, is gone this week. Throwback to when this arrived. It was 2015, mid-2015, and the whole idea behind this was World Event 3, the last World Event. It was everybody versus Tuska, and it elicited a good number of feelings, I think. That's what I'll say about this one. Where do you go back to on this, Tanis?
So I go back to, I always like the rewards. Never cared a ton for the whole Anima Islands thing. Like, it was fine when it was the world event,
right?
But,
because you were playing it cooperatively with everybody else.
Yeah, but once it was here, it's been just kind of a mess. I swore.
I mean, they had to make it soloable, and that's how you played it at this point in the game. So its days were numbered. And, I guess with that, we go all the way back to 2015, the initial event and news post at the time they said that was Tuska comes. Well, I mean, I guess we've gone full circle here, and this week is Tuska goes, as has been pointed out for that. So all gone west of the bandit camp there. People might be wondering, well, what happens to all the the rewards from the Anima Islands D&D? Well, the abilities, and this is the really good thing in this post, I think, by the way. The abilities have been moved to completion of One Piercing Note. So you just do that quest, and you get all 3 abilities. Bam, right away. No more farming for them.
Amazing. You know what's so amazing about this, Shane? I love One Piercing Note. It is a wonderful quest. It's a unique
It's an
quest,
audio quest.
and it doesn't have that much in the way of rewards. The rearranging of stuff, I wish it had happened from day one. I'm sure the residents of that area of the desert do too, because they did have a rotting pig there for the last 10 years. But hey,
Free bacon.
Yeah, but I
Although
love that quest.
with names like Ali and all that down there, they probably didn't appreciate the bacon. So
Right? Like it probably was. I mean, rotting anything. There's a lot of it. So.
Yes.
Looking at the other items in that way, if you are interested in the emotes, the animations, or cosmetics that came from Anima Islands, those have been moved to the Gobi Smith armor shop for a reward. Also, the thing that happens with this is that the Tuska's Wrath ability has been moved to the new Beastmaster Hounds and Erets as a Slayer drop, as an ultra rare Slayer drop. 1 in 400 on task, and 1 in 1,000 off task or purchasable via Teci if you have a boatload of that. And the Tuska's War Priest is no longer an Anima Island purchasable thing, but is now also obtained from the Beastmaster Hounds and Erets in that regard. And I think the thing that we were most looking forward to with this update is that the Erets now also drop Teci. It's listed as rare. So it's not going to be a huge amount of Teci, and it drops one piece at a time. So depending on how common that is, I mean, I personally wouldn't bank on it. I think your best bet's still going to be to get a group together and just run Beastmaster a handful of times to either get the Teci or just get the drop for one of the codices there. So
it definitely maybe for a main, but like for what we find ourselves doing now, like Iron Man, I mean, you learn how stuff kind of adds up over time. Just pick up a little here every time you go do a task, and next thing you know, you're gonna have it. And really, even the 1 in 400 drop, that's not. I mean, I think that's
I'm sorry. It is the Beastmaster Hounds that have a very rare chance of dropping Teci between 2 and 5, not the Erets.
Okay. Even still, it's what was it? The Erets used to have, was it gloves or something?
It was the mask pieces that were used for that one comp requirement. The Tuska's pieces are.
Yeah, those were common, but they had there was a glove. There was
the Razorback gauntlets. Yeah.
Yep. And that it wasn't unheard of. I used to get them sometimes and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I love the Tuska's Wrath on task, 1 in 400, 1 in 1,000 on the Erets, off task. Yeah, and I've done over 1,000 Erets already, so they're one of my favorited tasks. You get some nice herb drops off them occasionally and such. The Eret bones, obviously, are great for prayer training. That's where I did a lot of mine using those. But adding that Tuska's Wrath ability codex, I think is a great thing. It just makes it easier for everyone to unlock.
Yeah, the one thing I think that everybody here is going to be asking what we do with the Beastmaster Hounds, and if you could, farm them for Teci eventually. We don't necessarily know what very rare is classed at in terms of the drop rate there for that. But these are only a level 43 Slayer creature assigned by Kaeldar, Mazcab, and Simona.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they also didn't include Raptor, because he's not. I mean, he's in that area. So I don't know if that was purposeful, but I feel like Raptors should be included in that as well.
Yeah, Raptor. Yeah, because they're not in the wilderness, and the majority of Raptor tasks are wilderness tasks.
Yeah, and the
can do them.
Hounds are
Yeah.
specifically Mazcab.
Yeah.
And what if you're wondering how you get there now, because there used to be the portal, that portal has effectively just been moved to the north of Menethos, on the little peninsula that's there. They basically moved everybody that was on Tuska's back directly over there.
The one interesting thing is to see how you go, sort of trying to get the Teci and those ability codex, because you can put them in your player-owned dungeon. Because obviously now they're a Slayer monster.
So that's another option. Get 5 of them and just camp them in the Slayer dungeon.
Yeah, which is probably what I'll do. But
Slayer dungeon. Okay.
AFK. Yeah, some AFK training in there just to see how they go, because it'll be good. Because
because things spawn faster in the Slayer dungeon, don't they?
Yes, yeah. I think it's every 1.2 seconds.
Right, so you could effectively just set up a farm and just bowl them down as they come up.
Yep, that's what I did with the Capsiaries on my main account to get all the keys.
Yeah, which is another update that has been made redundant.
No, still, because Capsiaries are the ones that drop the keys the most anyway.
Oh, okay.
The beautiful thing about it is there's just one key need now. Yeah. Just
7,000 life points on one of these Beastmaster Hounds, by the way.
Yep.
So not too bad.
I'm surprised they're so low. Only 43.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. They also dropped cooked alligator, which is a shark tier food. Just a little bit less than that, 1875 life points. And they commonly drop potato cactuses and white berries. So,
not
somebody
noted, though.
Not noted. Yeah. So it's up to you if you want to use the note paper for that.
Yeah.
Adamant and Luminite Stone Spirit, so that level. Guam and Haralander Seeds. I wonder if this will be a better Guam farm than the Tepid Zombies at north of the fort there. They also dropped the Mazcab burial charms, the Gobi burial charms that can be used for the rep there. And, everybody will know that the burial charms also appear on the traveling merchant shop. So after you complete that Mazcab rep, that is yet another way of getting Teci, if you don't want to do the Mazcab stuff there. So... Yep. I think maybe this is the best of the worlds that they could have. I don't want to say best of both worlds, because there's multiple worlds involved in this sense, to the point that that sense doesn't work. But when you look at everything that they're doing here, this is probably the best integration plan that there is for Mazcab that doesn't just feel like that Tuska's just sitting there sticking out of the water like a sore thumb.
Yeah, and as we said, main accounts probably aren't going to be jumping up and down about it, but for Iron Man accounts, I really do think this is a great addition.
Well, and I think I get it when you have that much. That much time and development into any content,
This was actually Raman's Game Jam, by the way.
Well, that's cool, but you don't want to you hate to see something kind of just come in and go out like that. But I kind of wish this had been the way it was from the start, from
6 months ago.
Well, from a player perspective, just because this is way more feasible to get your. Yeah, to get your stuff. Now, I'm real stubborn and slow, so I can still go and this works out for me. But yeah,
Well, see, the thing is that I really I was not looking forward to that grind, so I just did enough to get Devotion, because that's the one I really needed. But I'll still benefit from getting the other two.
Yeah. But I'm saying, by 2016. It could have been like this.
Yeah,
it would have been better for everybody.
Well, like we've been saying, if you look back at the game's history from 2013 to 2017, you get kind of a weird picture that I'm going to complain about in the "What Have We Been Doing" section this week. So, overall, long time coming. I'm glad that they were able to get this one in, and it, as a game jam project, it actually received the go-ahead, because this is something, like you said, Tanis, that it just didn't really make sense. The immersion did not make sense for what was there. So it's good that this finally was put in. And I think if we're gonna take this one step up, maybe add a bit more techie to the drop tables on Eretz, specifically on Mazcab, to give people who don't want to do, the 10-person content a way at getting what is effectively two of the most important abilities for Magic and Ranged.
Eretz definitely getting techie?
No, they don't have techie. I'm saying they should.
Yeah, they should.
Yes,
though.
yeah.
I'm saying they should, because if you look
They
at the
should,
drop
definitely.
table, they're that, high-level Slayer creature, whereas these Beastmaster Hounds here are level 43 Slayer. They have a very rare chance of dropping between 2 and 5 techie, so, why couldn't, that be doubled or tripled on Eretz and give it just a rare instead of a very rare drop as a way of working towards that.
100%.
Wouldn't be surprised if we're not the only ones with that feedback, and we may see that come in. I wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. Like, if we're gonna just look at Magic in particular, and where that comes from and the abilities that are there, it's 25,000 techie to get a Mazcab ability codex. So it's a long time. I mean, you're going to be farming in that dungeon for a long time, even after you put them in. And if you compare this to the drops on Durzag and Yakimaru, they're about a 1 in 20 drop if you don't get the Acto pieces. And what this has had the side effect of doing is it has had the side effect of having these drops maintain since about 2020 an average price between 30 and 40 mil for one of these abilities if you wanted to go and buy it.
You know what I would love to see? Not necessarily on those beasts, but on the Eretz themselves, is how we get like the recipe potions in archaeology, have like a very rare, make it 1 in 1,000 drop, or only on task of getting a piece of an ability where you can put the 4 pages together off Eretz.
Yeah.
As another way of getting those abilities into game.
Because I can't underscore this enough. We went through this on the Range monthly bid, and this is even more true for Magic, is that until you get Greater Concentrated Blast and Corruption Blast on Magic, I'm sorry, Magic does just not feel complete and like it can kick with the same power as Necromancy. And if Necromancy has made everything accessible in-game, there should be alternative ways, I feel, to get these 2 very critical abilities that are out there.
Yeah.
I mean, put it behind a quest, like a very complicated quest, like, The World Wakes, not While Guest Sleeps. The World Wakes has our Sunshine and Death Swiftness and whatnot. So,
but as I said, if you just had a piece of the abilities dropping as a 1 in 1,000 only on task, I mean, it makes them viable to sort of hunt down.
And I mean, if we really wanted to extend this out and say, well, what if you just wanted to go and pick up from the traveling merchant shop, the large Gobi Burial Charm is 150 reputation, or 150 techie if you've done the reputation. The regular one is 100, and the small one is 50. So even then, it's going to take a sweet amount of time to get. And given what has happened recently with Amasket and the success that's been there. I think when you look at things like raids in general, yeah, raids is very challenging content and was challenging content when that came out in 2015. And, you know, it's still challenging content if you don't know what you're doing and if you can't get a team. But at the same time, Amasket is a lot more accessible than the raids bosses are. And the point I'm getting at is that does it make sense to have these sort of abilities just singularly effectively locked behind Durzag and Yakimaru in
Not abilities,
2025?
no. Yeah.
So, maybe this as a springboard off of the Tuska cleanup can be something that's worked on at some point in the future for that, whether it's, you know, providing more forms of Teci or doing something like the pages that you referenced. And, you know, I think when you highlight everything that we've had here and you look at what this has done for the world and how it just makes everything feel a lot better than it was like a few days ago here, this is definitely a huge win update for this. So very pleased that this is in game.
Yeah, I just kind of like worry about pushback from, you know, the usual kind of suspects with that.
And see, here's the thing. I feel like I can say this as somebody who has a good collection of both Beastmaster and Yaka kills, north of 100 kill count, and the only reason I stopped is because I got a full log at 101 kills, when in reality it probably should have took me between 600 and 800, so I kind of wanted to preserve that vanity walking around with the Liberator title at 101 kills. Bit of a sidetrack there. If the ability codexes were to come into game in a way, and they went down to somewhere between 5 and 10 mil as a result of this, I think that would be a fair compromise.
Isn't that like the only real valuable drop? I mean, the Acto stuff,
You're right.
So I just wonder, you know, although I want this, I wonder if there'd be pushback like, oh, it's the only valuable drop. You just killed raids. Oh, God.
But here's the thing. Raids is only really done at reset out of a couple of friends' chats.
Because it sucks. Nobody.
It's probably
it outside of Amasket, it was, you know, one of the pinnacles of group content in the game. So I don't think it sucks. I just think the issue is, you know, getting teams and getting the ability for people to, you know, work together and finding places where people can learn for that. Which, you know, few of those exist.
That's why
you probably only got 1% of the population, 1% of the gaming population playing it anyway.
1%, hell, that's a lot.
Yeah, and you know, the question with that then is that, you know, maybe we're meandering down this river and raids need some kind of, you know, Ninja Striker rework to it.
I mean, probably the reason it holds its price is because there's very few of them coming into game because people just aren't doing it.
What they should do is keep them.
I'm just trying to think of how often I got a codex when I was doing it. Whenever I could get loot, and I think I was getting a codex about once every 10 to 14 days. So, I don't know. I didn't anticipate this becoming the raids episode. If that was, it would add that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, that was funny.
Yeah. Anything else on Tuska Goes?
Nope.
All right. We do have a few patch notes before we get to the main Leagues event this week. So, continuing on after the Tuska changes, a bunch of Amasket fixes in as well. Fixed an issue with the Modest Crocodile showing incorrect debuff icons, and a whole bunch of tweaks and improvements made to the explosive scarabs during Phase 4 of the Amasket fight. And these are the scarabs that need to get thrown into the portal for people on chain duty. They removed the animation for throwing scarabs, as this was making it feel clunky? Well, it rooted the player for the duration of the animation. And what the issue is on this is because you could be standing on one side of the arena, but chuck that scarab all the way to the opposite end of the arena, and it would show the animation of it flying through the sky, and you would be rooted for that entire period. So that's why they made that change.
Get the smackdown.
They also removed the projectile delay that was making the scarab stay in the air for longer based on distance thrown. It's now very snappy and throws instantly. So I guess they had a little bit too much realism there.
Fly ball.
And that's exactly what it is. It's like tossing one of those footballs all the way from one end of the field to the other and just having the infinite arm power and low gravity to make it work. They tweaked the priority of the scarabs so that they always appear on top. They updated the ability to throw them while in the prison rooms. Previously, you were only able to throw them directly at a target, but now you can throw them at any tile, which adds a little bit of forgiveness in terms of disrupting the shields of the chain guardians in there. Because what happens, and I feel like I can explain this because you guys haven't done this fight, is that somebody outside throws it to one of the portals, then the scarab appears inside. The person picks it up and then throws it at a chain guardian, and that makes the shield go down so they can attack the chain guardian and the chains inside that allow the statues to be cycled outside.
Animal cruelty.
Well, I mean, they're scarabs. We really don't like them anyways. They added an AoE effect of 2 tiles to crack the carapace effect. So if you miss the target by just a touch, it'll still run the effect and either break or weaken the carapace. That's nice. Overall, it's just making it more forgiving there. And for Phase 7, in order to better telegraph on this phase, they've darkened the arena platform to make them pop and tweak the patterns used to avoid the donut-style telegraphing from layering next to each other. And on Phase 6, the path to Tutmokin will now appear faster.
And for all you people who were using the Portuguese world, the enrage mode has been fixed on that.
Yeah, that's just a weird gotcha there.
Everyone's doing 1,000 enraged, but only doing like the basics on the Portuguese world.
Yeah, and there was also something weird with the FPS for people on P5 that was causing it to go down. That has been iterated on too. But one of the patch notes of all times, they updated female ducks from white to brown. And if my duck...
Why?
Well, my duck knowledge in particular says that generally female ducks are brown. Okay. Especially of the species mallard, which is what the males are depicted as. I think that's how it works, if I remember correctly from back in the day. Don't ask me how I know that. If we have any duck experts in the crowd who feel otherwise, let me know. The Ravenous Gowl's soul should now be correctly added to the Slayer Codex by depositing filled Ushabti within the Well of Souls. I think, I don't know, was this you, Pern, that was complaining about this, or was that somebody else that I saw complaining about this?
Which one was that one?
The Ravenous Gowls, their souls weren't able to add it to the Slayer Codex properly?
No, not me.
Okay.
Mine's in there, so yeah.
And finally adjusted the position of the shooting star in Ashdale so players no longer get thrown through the fence when they get hit by the falling star.
Oh, I'm sorry, you get hit by a falling star and you're only getting thrown through a fence? You're very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it's time for leaks, but before that, just a quick thank you to all of our Patreon members who allow us to do what we do here each and every week. This week, that's Alvaro L, Amos Reed, Arvids L, Bladecom, Chubura, Dominic R, Duramax, Gila Fleur, Imperialis, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Julia W, Keski, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Michelle M, Mike Wings, Mongrath, Pronasius, Ricky A, Robbie D, Runestar, Samuel FL, RR Man NZ, Scott DS, Shirt Pants, Cyoasis, Smovin, Snail Mage, Tabby, The Naked Captain, The Davin Goat, Tim, Ukulele Steve, Woody, Zant, and Zazakon. Big, huge thank you, everybody. If you want to learn more about our Patreon offerings, patreon.com/RSBNB, and we just published not too long ago the monthly bit discussing RuneScape's highs and lows, which was an interesting episode, because what was high for some people wasn't high for everybody else, and we kind of settled in on the fact that, maybe EOC was a high for some people, but it's also kind of a low for large portions of the community, and we went through all that. So if you want to hear that, patreon.com/RSBNB, you can get that for as little as $1 a month. In addition to that, you gain access to 85 other monthly bit episodes that are in the catalog, the ability to vote on our monthly bit topics, and of course, you're helping support the podcast for all its hosting and production needs. We also have the VIP tier, where for $3 a month, you get a VIP rank on Discord, chat channel access, and a mention on the podcast at the start of the month, plus high-quality stereo versions of the show, in addition to everything else. And for $5 a month, you receive a shout-out on the podcast each and every week, and you gain exclusive access to the outtakes we use to make the clip show at the end of the year. Patreon.com/RSBNB. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, leagues. The first ever RuneScape leagues for...
Yes, can I just pull out this title? RuneScape's first ever leagues shows that OSRS is the official private server game, because they're saying this is RuneScape's first ever leagues. So it shows that OSRS isn't the real game.
Wow.
They're saying it themselves. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
Throw the hate.
No, yeah. I mean, you're allowed to say that here. The discussion of old school and its plugins can come another day. But it's going to run from September 15th to November 10th, and they're calling it Leagues Catalyst. And there's a very good reason for this. Centered right on the picture of all this is a image of the Stone of Jazz, otherwise known as the Catalyst. And I think this is a very interesting thing to look at, because what this is kind of inferring to me is that they're leaning into a bit of the RuneScape history, heavily leaned on for RS3, everything we had in the 6th Age with the Stone of Jazz. So I guess to just summarize this, what Leagues is for people who are joining this for the first time or might not know, is that it is a game mode that is temporary, that runs for about 2 months. You don't have to pay for extra membership in order to play it. It effectively creates a sharded copy of your character, and
You say sharded?
Yeah.
Sharded.
Yeah. Like a shard.
It's a sharded copy.
Like a shard.
D, not a T.
Yeah, D.
Uh-huh.
And the whole idea behind it is that you complete tasks. And as you complete these tasks, you unlock various things. We don't necessarily know what the unlocks are going to be on the RS3 side. We have a pretty good idea that we're going to have relics in the same way that they do on old school leagues. And if we're just looking at the relics right now, what the relics allow you to do is get supercharged aspects of gameplay. So some of the ones that were decoded based on the video that was provided in the Dragonkin language, it looks like there's going to be a relic that's similar to old school's Banker's Note, which effectively allows you to note and bank items at will from anywhere within the game. So think of just standing at a rune crafting altar and not needing to bank for training that. Another one that's been decoded is called Farming Frenzy, and this did things like automatically ultra composting your patches, making it so that seeds wouldn't be consumed if they were successful, and making it so that your crops didn't die. And then another one that was inferred based on the video is called Golden Footed, and we don't necessarily know what this is going to do, but there was a similar one in the last old school league that basically automated alchemizing while walking, and it removed the cost requirements for high elk and increased the amount of gold given. So it let you bring basically a huge stack of items and just infinitely elk for magic XP and gold. So the gameplay loop is you do tasks, that unlocks relics. You also unlock combat boosts along the way, XP boosts, and if they copy out of the page of the old school leagues, you'll be unlocking areas as well. And we're looking at XP multipliers here that are absolutely massive compared to what we had during Fresh Start and what people on RS3 are going to be accustomed to. The last league on old school had its top XP multiplier at 16x for regular skills and 32x for combat skills.
Holy crap.
So the idea being is that you are living out a power fantasy and you are going to be doing content that you might not have never been able to do before.
Yeah, love it.
And is it? Can you trade between players?
You're Iron Man.
Yeah, okay, so yeah.
Yeah, so no trading between players.
No GE and all that then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there wouldn't be that. And we're going to get more information on this next week. And I think a lot of it will depend on, do they go the region locking path as the old school league has done for a few of them now, because that's proved very popular, or do they go a different path? There's been discussions of maybe, looking into alternate RuneScape realities in this one, which could be interesting. Might be a different page.
Area. Dun, dun, dun.
Another one I was thinking was, maybe the road not taken if the 6H didn't happen.
Yeah.
So when you say area locked, is that gonna? Can you do quests on?
So here's the thing with this: we don't know if we're gonna get region locking, but the way it worked is that on the old school leagues, everybody started off with the starting area of Misthalin and Karamja, plus Fossil Island, which is our Anachronia, and then you would pick 3 additional regions as you would go. So those are things like Asgarnia, Kandarin, Prif, Mauritania, Fremennik, Desert, and then you would unlock the content in those areas when you choose it, and you would also complete the quests necessary to play those content. So if you chose Prif, you would automatically unlock Plague's End and all of its requirements.
Oh, so you don't actually do any questing at all?
There are some quests that you do have to do, but a lot of the big key ones are going to be auto-unlocked if they do region locking. And that's a big if, because I don't know if they're doing that.
Part of the task system, obviously.
Yeah, there are some quests that are part of the task system, and there are some quests that are not.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that idea of locking me out of certain areas.
Well, and see, that's the thing, because if you had the entire world, you'd be... The sense they came up with on old school is that might be a little bit too powerful. Because effectively, if we take not the last league on old school, but the one before that, the meta combat style for that was magic. And to do magic effectively, what do you need? Ancient spells.
Desert,
so pretty much everybody had to choose desert. And then if you wanted Fremennik rings, you would choose the Fremennik region. If you wanted Barrows items, you would have to choose Mauritania, and then there would be your 3 regions right there. So, and the thing is that with this, they're going for something like they did with the group Iron Man called Parity Plus, where it gets the old school features plus a little bit more. But I think the last that we heard is that there's never really been any confirmation if there's going to be region locking on this. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest things that we take away when we get more information next week on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so is there scoreboards for the different regions, or is
it's overall? It's overall. Typically, you get the tasks are broken up into easy, medium, hard, elite, and master, each being worth more. And the goal in the previous old school ones, and we'll see if they keep this, was to get to 60,000 points, which was Dragon Trophy rank.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So you'll be able to get that 60,000 no matter what region.
Yeah, every region has a similar distribution of tasks.
Okay.
Some
But
might,
I'm just thinking.
some might skew a little bit more high end, like Prif and whatnot, but
But that's part of the theory crafting. That's part of the strategizing. Is
that's what I'm thinking. You're going to have to sit there
and
what's
see,
going to give me the fastest XP?
Right, and see, that's the thing that really, upset me the last 2 leagues is that I kind of went my own path on those, and I didn't meta-slave it. And for people who know me in gaming, I like doing the meta-slaving option. And by the time I realized I wasn't going to like that, it was too late to start fresh. So the theory crafting is going to be a huge part of it. And once we have all the information, probably the week before or 2 weeks before it launches, we will do a theory crafting episode with people who are going to be playing it and talk about what our options are for that.
And send me all the cheat notes.
Yeah, I mean, and see, that's the thing too, is that there's going to be, an optimized path that you can take.
Exactly.
Because people, and, we'll have to wait and see how much they copy out of old school. People can effectively have all their 3 regions unlocked by the end of day 2, if you play your cards right. And I know this doesn't necessarily compare for us because our combat system has made things like getting the fire cape easier. But again, imagine starting a RuneScape account and by the end of day 1 or 2, being able to get a fire cape.
Crazy.
So that's the kind of thing that you're looking at on this. And when we look at the verbiage on this, it says experience explosive progression, overpowered relics, and massive twists that completely transform the way you play. And they do rightfully highlight that this is included within your membership with no additional membership required and no microtransactions.
Well, and that was something that was, a criticism, a fresh start. So I think they really, they learned from that. And it's funny because, I've always been a big advocate of these limited time modes. I really think this is the future. This is what keeps it fresh, adds value to your membership. At the same time, I'm totally content with my man right now. So, and I'll be there. I'll be, I'll play some, but
and
yeah, not as I'm just doing my thing. Yeah.
And see, here's the thing. I think there is also going to be a bit of a shock to the RuneScape 3 community when this arrives, because we typically don't see big headline feature updates while Leagues is running on old school. If anything, it's just little bug fixes here and there. So the bulk of people who are playing RS3 while this is running and who are not playing Leagues are going to probably experience a content drought, because they don't like to shift up the meta typically by adding new content in the middle of it.
Which is understandable, because you want people competing on those leagues and not sitting there worrying about getting their completionist cape back on in the regular game.
That's what I mean, but it's a good time, right? Because it's going to come back. It'll be done by Christmas,
mid-November. By
Thanksgiving.
I wish it was a month later, because September is always my busiest month with birthdays and family events and such.
And I said this too, because that's typically when the old school one runs. But Sirion had a comment about this, and he said that this positions the old school team to be able to drop sailing late November, because sailing is still on the radar as being an old school launch this year. And it also gives the RS3 team time to get that next roadmap in play.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, I mean, for timing wise, it sort of makes sense.
Yeah, so there's benefits and drawbacks entirely with this. So.
Do I go to family events, or do I just?
Well, see, here's the thing.
Here's
Here's the thing. the way leagues work is that typically things that you might not expect to be mobile friendly can become mobile friendly.
This is going to be fun.
So, like,
we have a no phone rule when we go to family events.
I mean,
so
just put it
people
in
aren't
your
allowed to play on their
pocket and let it
phones.
run.
Just tell them you're a degenerate gambler or something. You got to check your DraftKings, man.
They already know I'm that when I go to the casino and play poker. Walked out with $2,500 last time. So
I think one of the craziest things that happened last league on Old School was that there was a relic that gave you the ability to get herbs whenever you would do a gathering skill. So you could effectively get enough herbs to train herb lore by woodcutting, mining, or fishing.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I
don't know what we're going to get relic-wise, except for the ones that people have decoded, but that's kind of an example. Here, let me pull up last year's Raging Echoes relics and just tell people a bit about what those were. So they're split up into tiers. So the first one had a power miner, lumberjack, and animal wrangler. Power miner effectively gave Old School like RS3 mining for that league. Lumberjack made it so that trees had their logs automatically sent to your bank, and it had a toggle to automatically burn logs for fire making XP, or to automatically fletch logs into arrow shafts for fletching, regardless of your fletching level. Then there was Animal Wrangler, which gave you an Echo Harpoon that, when failing to fish at a fishing spot, you would have had a 50% chance to succeed. Items gathered from fishing were automatically sent to your bank. Fish were caught one tick faster, and fish had a 50% chance of automatically being cooked, granting cooking XP regardless of your levels. Hunter traps would also never fail. Box traps for Chinchampas were faster, and impling jars would never break when opening them, and you would never burn food while cooking. So you would choose one of these for your tier 1 relic.
So you only get one. You can't
you
go through and unlock different ones as you go up.
Tier 2 had Corner Cutter, Friendly Forager, and Dodgy Deals. Corner Cutter was the agility one that let you get agility XP while just running around. And Friendly Forager was the Herblore one that I mentioned. Dodgy Deals made it so that you had AoE pickpocketing, so if you pickpocketed, you would pickpocket all NPCs of the same type in an 11 by 11 grid. 100% success chance for thieving, automatically re-pickpocket an NPC, and items from pickpocketing were noted. So we have a bunch of these features already in RS3, so you can see why they can't just copy and paste directly from that. The tier 3 one was called Clue Compass, which would allow you to teleport to any hidey hole automatically. The compass would also teleport the player to their current clue step if you had one, and it ignored wilderness teleport restrictions. Then there was the banking one that we highlighted, and then there was also another one for getting around called Fairy's Flight that allowed you to teleport to any fairy ring, spirit tree, or tool leprechaun without completing the requisite quests. Then there was one called Golden God, which was similar to the alking one that I mentioned, where you would just alk as you walked. There was one pern here at Tier 4 called Reloaded, which let you choose a different relic from a previous tier. And then there was Equilibrium, which was anytime you gain XP, you would gain additional XP in the skill trained, equal to 10% of the player's total level. So you can see kind of what we're in for when it comes to relics. And then there was combat unlocks as well that were passive in that regard. So it's not necessarily going to be a copy-paste, because a lot of the things that I just talked about wouldn't work.
Yeah, and also a lot of those, as you said, a lot of those things we've already got as relics in our archaeology relics anyway. So yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then there were, all the different regions you could choose: Asgardia, Kandarin, Fremennik, Desert, Mauritania, Prif and Taranin, the Wilderness, Corand, and Varlamore. Obviously, we don't have those last two, but
Yeah.
that's the general idea of leagues. I'll be participating, and we'll be keeping an eye open for what happens next week on that. So, have either of you changed your mind since we started this conversation?
I was always going to participate, but probably it sounds like I'll be a bit more active than I expected. I hope we don't get region locking, but I will understand it if we do.
But the thing is that, see, everybody thought that the league before they did region locking was so good on old school, but it got progressively more interesting with region locking.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It makes it an interesting step in planning and such. I mean, I was gonna do a hard push on archaeology to get 120, but I'll probably save that so I can just AFK archaeology while
right. And see, that's the thing too, is that definitely do this on your main, because that way then that keeps your GIM account open if you just want to play on that, as a break or something like that.
Oh too. Yeah. That's why I kept my Premiership club on the main, because if anything come up this year that. Because people had been talking about leagues coming, but it was only a rumor, and then obviously it got confirmed. So it'll be doing it, but I'll probably be participating a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, and the thing is that I just hope that it's different enough from the old school one, because I think if it's too much of a carbon copy of the old school one, you'll get the people who have experienced, the last 2 years of leagues, which have been very big and, successful on old school. And if it's just a carbon copy of either of those people will say, what's the point? And I think this is a huge opportunity to show people what RS3 can be.
Differentiate ourselves a bit.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think it by its nature, just talking about the differences, there's so many of those relic powers that are just the way that we play. So I don't think it can be. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of difference already going to be built in, just because our game already has the relic powers.
Yeah.
That'll
be very interesting.
And I also hope that this is a good opportunity to bring people over from old school.
Give it a chance and let them have a look at what we have over here now.
And that leads me to the next thing that I wanted to mention with this. And I don't necessarily know that there's enough time to do this before the 15th, but I think it would be good for Jagex to re-examine what the default user interface looks like for somebody coming to the game. Because I think that can be very confusing and, not necessarily the clearest thing. That, and also make it so that the default auto setup abilities that you get when you set up an action bar for any of the 3 legacy combat styles using the auto setup are actually good.
Yeah, because the preset ones, as you unlock everything and it just throws it on there, is never optimal.
Yeah. And then I guess the other thing I'd say is that, in the onboarding or tutorial for this, just ask if you're coming over from old school, and if the person is, give them the old school UI by default.
Yep.
Because we have that, and I think it works perfectly good for RS3 until you discover you want a bigger mini map, or you want to move things around. So
yeah,
those are the things that I would say that probably need to be done before this, but definitely we'll be keeping our eyes open next week when we get more information on this.
Very nice.
We also have the player support update that we delayed until this week to talk about because we didn't have time last week. And there's good news for this, too. Character switching on mobile is in progress and on the way.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Whereas, right now you need to log out and go through that entire login flow, which is always annoying. Apparently now, also to install the Jagex launcher, you need to have admin ability on the computer you install it in. And they're looking at making it so that it can be installed for a single user later this year. And they are investigating Linux support. They also launched a new AI support bot called Scaper, which I think makes everybody cringe in this day and age. So if you have any interactions with Jagex support in this bot, let us know how it goes. They say they built it to find answers fast or direct people to connect to the support team. Eventually, they do plan on launching live chat this quarter, as well, making it available in peak hours so you can directly speak to a member of the customer support team.
That'd be interesting. One of our major banks here just they sacked a whole bunch of people because they had AI, which was going to make things quicker, and it didn't work, and they have to give it overtime, and they're trying to re-employ their old people and such. It's oopsie. Yeah.
Clearer account management's already there, and increased usage of account security features is something they're trying to onboard the players to. And it's interesting because half of this post was actually a how-to in telling people how to be secure. Specifically enabling multi-factor authentication, doing the same for your email account and securing it, avoiding password reuse, and learning to stay alert to phishing attacks.
Actually, that's one thing I've noticed the last probably week, maybe 2 weeks, is I've logged out. Yeah, I've gone to just logged out for a little while bit because I'm going to be doing some housework where I'm going to be away for more than sort of that 10, 15 minutes, and going to go back in. It keeps telling me you haven't logged out from your last gameplay yet.
I've been getting that a lot too.
Yeah. That is something that they are looking into and is potentially related to some sort of server thing with the login server not processing logins or logouts as quick as it should.
That's okay,
not log in, log out stuff.
The first time I got it, and I'm going, and it did it like 3 or 4 times to me. I'm going, oh Jesus, someone's hacked my account. How did they hack the account? Because I have 2-factor. I have a password that is only used for this, and I'm going, no.
Yeah, we've all been getting it.
Then I got in. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we've all been getting it.
Not good, but good that
Yeah, and I guess what. Like, remember, I think it was a few months back I did the pick of the week on the password manager. And that's one of the key planks in this is to use a password manager and have it come up with the passwords and make sure that you're doing that for all your accounts and you're using multi-factor where you can. And a lot of people will see that Jagex accounts require multi-factor and will just, pass on setting up the Jagex account. But the reality of it is that it's just so much more secure because it takes it from something that which is your password, to be something plus something that you have, which is that password or that multi-factor token login.
And anyone who has any doubts, just have a chat to Thaxty.
Yeah, that was right as Jagex accounts were rolling out, so we weren't able to have that there for that. And the previous Jagex account Guardian wasn't the best thing compared to the industry standard multi-factor that's there. And another thing that I think I've run into a lot is I run into a lot of RuneScape players who just think that they know better, who feel that a password manager isn't secure, or there's a reason that you don't need multi-factor authentication or something like that. But the reality of it is that a lot of big companies out there are using things like multi-factor for this reason, in addition to robust password policies. So give this post a read, and if you're not online with any of these, definitely make sure you get that in line, especially if you haven't moved over to the Jagex launcher yet, which is something that you should probably consider doing. But I think the biggest thing that we take away from this is that character switching for mobile is on the way, which is always annoying in that flow that provides. So
very nice.
All right, what have we been doing in RS? One of you want to go first, or should I?
You can go first this time.
Okay, well, it's been like a month since we've had the opportunity to talk about this, because it was about this time in July that we last did this, because we had the quest and then we had 2 weeks of Mazcab. So since then, I have unlocked Prif, and my GIM character now has Prif, which is excellent. I finally, when I was doing Plague's End, in the span of about 48 hours, I went all the way from Morning's End Part 1 to Plague's End, which was something I'd just been wanting to do forever, and I'm glad I was able to do that.
You've moved away from that, down with those peons and come up with us elites.
Yeah, well, but see, here's the thing. I don't necessarily even know that I use Prif that much in terms of now having it. But
yeah, but it's really handy for some things.
Yeah, I know. The first thing I did there is I went in and I actually got my attuned teleport crystal.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. That was the first thing I did.
Because, farm runs, right?
That's right.
So, there was
handy
that.
for clue runs too.
But, another thing that I do need to bring up about entering Prif is because, when we used to hold Prif up, it was such a big account milestone. And I was asked, following my entrance into Prif by Lemon, as a response to one of the episodes, and I'll do this here now, does it feel like an account milestone, and does it feel like it unlocks meaningful progression? And I think, 10 years after Prif came out, it's not necessarily as OP as it used to be, but it's still a very, very important account milestone.
Yep. Oh, yeah, it's still a big milestone. And just having things like, the Hef and Agility course, when you
Cleansing
agility,
crystals.
Cleansing crystals, yeah. But that, with the Heffen course, you can set your camera and mouse to be able to just click one spot over and over and not sort of move around. It makes agility so much easier. Prayer training, especially if you get the quiver. I think it's level 3 quiver, where when you're wearing that, it just keeps putting the stones in. You don't even have to, worry about that. It does, while it's not as OP as it was, as you said, 10 years ago, it is still a great area. It offers some, decent AFK training methods. Gives you nice bonuses for Seren hours and things like that. It's definitely still a very important milestone in the game.
Yeah, I would agree that it is still a good and important milestone. And the quests have actually aged quite well. I think Morning's End Part 2 has actually aged pretty decently for that. And even Plague's End, going into the boss fight on Plague's End, it's still actually a dangerous boss fight, even with, tier 80 necromancy gear. If I wasn't careful, there'd still be times where, I'd just randomly be hitting typeless, 1,500, 2K damages. So, it was a good quest line to do. And I think it's held up quite well. On the flip side, though, I think I have a new least favorite quest.
Oh.
Missing Presumed Death.
Ah, yeah, it wasn't a fun one.
No, it's not that it wasn't fun. It was because of the lore nonsense in there.
Well, that's it. And even, the maze wasn't really a maze. And, it was bland.
Yeah, and, I think it encompasses what the issue is with the first half of the Six Age and the Slisk's game writing. Like, there is literally a line where your character says, finally the deserving god will be able to reign above all others. Like, what is this? It's not RuneScape even on its, worst day. And then there's another one. And, maybe some players wanted to lean into this, and maybe this is one of the things they were looking for. The day has finally come for me to take my deserved place as a god. Like, what the hell? Like, it's just so jarring playing through this quest. And I don't know. That first half of the Six Age stuff with the Slisk's game, ugh.
I mean, I always liked him as a character, but I didn't like a lot of those quests, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I haven't gotten to the Zamorak heist one yet, but I know that's the one you're talking about, Tannis.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But
even I didn't like that one.
And then the entire dialogue in that quest is over the top. And the reason I choose this section is just because it highlights it. Another one of the lines is, the contest is good. There are too many gods. This is what the world needs. There are too many gods dividing the people of Gielinor. I don't know. I did not like that quest, and it has made me not want to do right now the rest of the Slisk's arc, but eventually I will get there. But
yeah, we still need 80 more quest points.
Yeah, still got a ways to go. But otherwise, aside from that, got the kill requirements done for level 80 Necro Gear. Presently spending off time at Hermod, getting the rest of the Hermotic plates for the tier 80 power armor. And then a trip to Ambassador, Telos, and Araxor will be in order for tier 90. And then we can really start cooking with PVM. And after the show is done, I'll get 86 Archaeology, which is, of course, a requirement for, I think it's Remains of the Necrolord, that allows you to unlock the 4 extra necromancy powers, and it was the necromancy archaeology quest, and ties into Ode of the Devourer, and just lines everything up for going for the gates. So, again, as we head into the weekend, in position to make some huge strides on the GIM, and still enjoying it, especially getting to spend, millions of XP so far doing archaeology. So yeah, that's fun. How about you, Tannis?
I mean, I'm not at Prif yet, but I feel like I'm really starting to kick some ass and take some names. We have nearly all the levels I need. I got 4 more summoning levels, and then all I have left is herb lore and agility.
What about dungeoneering?
Well, that one, but I can't do that without the rest of the team anyway.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to sit down and do that as well at some point before League starts.
Yeah, definitely. But for the most part, that's pretty well. I had unlocked Invention a little while ago. Still find myself with new goals, still enjoying it. I probably won't dive in really hard into leagues, but I'll play it just because I'm still really into the group Iron Man. So
yeah, and that's my biggest thing. Don't throw yourself at leagues because you feel you have to. Do it because it sounds interesting and you want to.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun, but right now, everyone always told me if I ever tried Iron Man, I'd like it, but I think this kind of Iron Man,
the group really adds a
like.
Unique element to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. There are certain things that I have always done in different ways, and just having somebody that can get things that you can't get, which then can change the way that you train at different levels. I mean, it can just really change the game. So it's been cool.
Yeah. And, even just, finding all the niches and whatnot that works for everybody else, like in terms of how you wanted to do summoning a bit more AFK.
Yeah.
With the relic that's there. So.
Yeah. So yeah.
Just remember to hand it into the right person.
Yeah, that was. Man. And I thought I was doing good because, like, I looked it up and everything, but I read too quickly, apparently.
That's fine.
Didn't see the other name there, but yeah. Now we know.
That's it. But yeah, no, it's it does. Yeah, that Spirit Weaver, while it's not for everyone, for an Iron Man account, when you want to AFK, it is a very nice relic.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, how about you, Bird?
Me, just been on the grind. Collecting a few of the previous artifacts for our members, so that they can unlock certain relics that they wanted. I've been sort of on the smithing and mining grind. I want to start trying to make myself some what's it called? Masterwork armor. I had to. I made the pickaxe, augmented pickaxe of Earth and Song. Got that done. Didn't realize I needed also 90 attack to be able to wield it. But
that's interesting.
Out.
That's the pickaxe.
Yeah, that's the pickaxe. Did the level 99 hatchet. Finished that off.
But do you need an attack level for that?
No. Sorry, no. The hatchet was the one I needed the attack level for.
Okay, that makes sense because that can actually be used as a weapon.
Yeah, the hatch. Sorry, that was because I had to knock out a couple of days ago. I had to knock out the 90 attack on that because I was 88. So I hit sort of. I've got every skill to at least level 90 now. I think it was last week. I wasn't on last week, but smacked out a whole bunch of clues so that we all have Luck of the Dwarves. Sorry, not the Luck of the Dwarves, the Grace of the Elves. Yeah. The Luck of the Dwarves is the one I'm working on now with my clues, but I've got to just build up the clue stack again. That's basically been it. Can't think of much else other than I think I knocked out another couple of 99s over the last couple of weeks, but
we've read those out on the show.
Yeah. So that's been pretty much it for me.
Yeah, and you're gonna read out one of your own 99s too in just a moment, apparently.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cause, I got one a couple of days ago.
All right, sounds good.
Actually, I do want to say sorry.
No, yeah, you're good.
If anyone wants to, the extra 5% mining where you get for the lava, the nymph lava, the lava nymph. When I did it on my main account years and years ago, it took like 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever it was. It's like an hour now. I needed to do her to get a gilded
to get
pickaxe.
For the pickaxe, yeah.
Oh, that was the other thing.
Oh, that's big. Where'd you get a dragon pickaxe?
I've had 2 dragon pickaxe drops. Because you need 2 to make the song of the Earth and Song pickaxe.
Well, that's good. That's one of the things we were initially worried about.
Yeah, I got the first one come pretty quickly, just at the Chaos Dwarves, obviously, and then I went down there. I was tied up doing a bunch of stuff here, so I thought, just chuck on. I've got the what's it called? Aggression potions. Take a bunch of those down, and probably 3 or 4 hours down there, just with the aggro pots. Picked up a second one, so that's why I was able to do our.
The next 6 are going to take a long time to get then.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're not all
But
going
we
to be
don't
mining
necessarily
at once.
need all, like, we
Exactly.
don't, yeah.
These are the type of tools you only need the one of.
Right, because, like, if we look at
Yeah.
my main, I have, the level 99 archaeology matic, but how often do I train archaeology now that I've got everything unlocked? Yeah. And same thing goes for mining and whatnot, right? So we can get by with just, one or two of them.
Yeah, exactly. You have your one augmented one. Everyone, once I hit sort of the 100 on that smithing, I'll make the primal ones for everyone, and they're good enough. You don't need an augmented one. It works a little bit faster, but not overly.
And the perks
so
to it. Like if you're going for a long session, I'd want the perks, and I think that's the main reason for it. And I assume we can augment them, and it still can be group banked.
Yes, it is. Yeah, because I just chuck them back in the bank when I'm not using them. So so that's basically been my last 2 weeks.
Wonderful. All right. Moving on to the achievements this week, and this is actually a very interesting one and important one to talk about, because this week we debuted a new achievements channel in the RSBANDB Discord where you can post your achievements to have them read out on the podcast. 99s, 200 mils, 120s, all of that's welcome, but other things as well, like big drops, milestones, and just generally obscure things. We do have a few of those this week that were submitted there. It's basically another option of getting your achievements read out on the show if you don't want to sign up on the forums or join Clan Quest. So, kicking us off, we have Drizzly Lemon with 120 prayer on the 21st. That is one that was submitted in the Discord. So update.show/Discord if you want to submit achievements. Chimney Lax with 99 summoning on the 20th and 120 necromancy on the 19th. Lemon again with 120 herblore on the 19th. Black Nexican with 120 necromancy on the 18th. And Ormeen with 99 fletching on the 17th.
And then moving on to the 16th, we have Noob PVM Eric with 120 prayer, Vapor 13579 hit 99 fishing, Westcase hit 99 necromancy. They were all on the 16th. Then on the 15th, there was Ormeen who hit 99 firemaking. Some clown called Pugnacious hit 99 mining. That's obviously my I Group Ironman guy. And Ormeen also with 99 mining on the 14th of August.
Nicely done. And we do have a couple of the other obscure ones that were submitted as well. Zerdone's got a Dark Onyx core after 700 kill count.
Lucky.
That is very lucky. How long did it take you on your main for that?
Well, the count only goes up to 2,000, so it was over 2,000 kill count.
Wow. Okay, and Psyoace has got Jack of All and Master of All for completing the skill pet collection there. So well done, everybody. So if you have achievements you want to send them in. And this also lets you send in things like if you got Master Quest Cape, or just completed a quest that you think is a big deal. We will do our best to read those out on the show. Update.show/Discord for that. All right. You also jumped in with this pick of the week, so I imagine you're very enamored with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was thinking could binge watch it, but forgetting it was a HBO Max one, not a Netflix one. So it's only a one-a-week episode. But Peacemaker 2 gets released today. The first season was absolutely brilliant, starring John Cena as Peacemaker. The first season sort of comes in after Suicide Squad. He sort of gets out of hospital and sort of has the spin-off where he gets his own storyline there, and this one sort of continues that. I believe it comes in after the new Superman movie is where this one starts off as. But John Cena playing Peacemaker, very non-PC, just the way he talks and acts and things. And it's just one of those really well-done shows that if you like action, you like comedy, you don't care too much about political correctness, enjoy a good laugh. It's just one of those diamond in the rough shows where it hits the mark on everything. The characters work well together. Cena as Peacemaker, and just that dumb, strong guy. He just does it so well. So, comes out today. It's a HBO Max one, but it is also on Netflix in Australia. Go check it out. James Gunn is the writer director of it, so you'll enjoy it.
It always amazes me looking at these shows just how much they've been able to spin off from, DC in this case, or Marvel in others.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you
and do live action at that.
The comic books on a lot of these guys sort of, go back 50, 60, 70 years. So there's so much story there that you can sort of, if you do it right, get these spin-offs. There have been a lot of failed ones. I would say there's sort of more failures than successes, but this is one of those really, really good success ones.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that streaming does as well, is that it enables, things that are like this obscure to be able to take off, whereas you could never,
Yes.
have this on broadcast TV.
Oh, no, that's right. And I mean, again, it's like in the old days where we used to get 24 episodes in a season. These are like 9 episodes. They're like an elongated movie. They are, they run in a timeline that it's the one storyline running straight through. So it's just like a long movie.
Excellent. Tanis, have you watched this one at all?
No, it's one that I want to, because I like John Cena. So I definitely want to check it out. And I like the humor, so I just haven't, I don't
Not
watch
my kind
a lot
of humor.
stuff.
One great thing in the first season is he's got an American bald eagle called Eagly is his sidekick, and just some of the stuff that goes on with the bird in that. I mean, it's just all round, and he is the anti-hero. I mean, he's a bad guy who thinks he's a good guy. He'll it doesn't matter how many doesn't matter how many men, women, or children he needs to kill for peace.
Take no prisoners.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they decided at some point there needs to be RuneScape quests like this? I think that really would be jumping the shark compared to how I was complaining about missing presumed death.
Yeah, I mean, we already did. I mean, we have brought in torture, so.
Really?
And that was that. I mean, we had torture
Where
during
was
the
that?
Bush years. You don't remember, Shane?
No.
You tortured dwarves and did it gleefully.
I should do that quest line then and see how that holds up in this day and age.
There you go.
But that's pretty much it for this episode of Update. Thank you, Pern, for the pick. And next week, of course, we're itching to have the league's info to know exactly how it's going to work. So expect that on next week's show, come hell or high water, even if we need to delay to Friday like that, because I know sometimes those sorts of news comes out on Friday, but hopefully it'll be earlier in the week to accommodate the usual recording time. But thank you, Tanis, for being here.
Yep, no problem.
And, of course, you, Pern, everybody's second favorite Australian.
Always a pleasure.
And if you want to hear exactly what League's Catalysts is going to look like when it arrives, well, we'll talk about that next week on the podcast. If you want to get that as soon as it drops, update.show/subscribe. We're on all the major podcast listening services out there, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and more, of course, YouTube as well, youtube.com/RSBANDB. Do give us a like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel out. Tremendous response to both the Mazcab episodes and the Quest Week episode. Thank you to everybody who interacted on that. Those were good. And we hope to see some more of that going forward as we get closer and closer to leagues. So with that being said, we'll see you guys next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update. See you then, everyone. Take care.
See you.
Happy Skype and all.